Good morning po. I'm Roslyn M. Bandibas. To continue the Marzano and Kendall's new taxonomy. So in Marzano and Kendall's taxonomy is actually have three domain of knowledge: the information, the mental process, and the psychomotor procedure. And also given the sixth level of processing or the level of difficulties. We have Level 1, recovery. Level 2, comprehension. Level 3, analysis. Level 4, use of knowledge. And level 5, metacognitive. And level 6, internal system or the self system. As Damya discussed the three domain, we proceed to the sixth level of difficulty. Now let us take a look the difference between these levels. But before that, it is also important to us to know the difference between our types of memory. We actually have three types of memory: the sensory memory, working memory, and permanent memory. Now, when we say sensory memory, this deals with the temporary storage of data from senses. That we all know that the senses are those part of the body that we have used to acquire information from environment that we are living. Senses that we have are touching, smelling, taste, seeing, and hearing. When we say working memory, it is used data from both sensory memory and permanent sensory. It is where data are actively processed. Again, working memory is the midpoint of sensory memory and permanent memory. Working memory sorts information, sorts data, and gathers data that are important, and it's retrieve data from permanent data if is need to. And the last type of memory is permanent memory. That is contains all the information, organized idea, skills, process that constitute the domain of knowledge. In short, that we understand, know, and how to do. That is permanent memory. Now let's proceed to the level of processing or the level of difficulty. According to Marzano and Kendall's new taxonomy, the first level that we have is recovery or retrieval. This is the activation and the transfer of knowledge from permanent memory to working memory. A while ago, when we retrieved some data from permanent memory, then put it back to working memory, we call it retrieval. According to Marzano and Kendall's, these have three skills for retrieval. The first one is recognizing, where select from a list, for example. You determine whether the provided information is accurate. Second is recalling. It exemplify means, list, label, state, and describe who or what, where, and when. The third one is executing, which used to demonstrate, show, and make and complete perform procedure. Now we will proceed to second level of difficulty, that is comprehension. Means that the data that are deposited in working memory via sensory memory are not stored in permanent memory exactly as experience. It must be translated into structure and format that preserve the key information. So you remember that our sensory memory, once you have data coming from sensory memory, working memory is not only process it and put it to directly in memory, but instead, it is going to sort out information and separate them in important. Now, this comprehension has two sub-levels. We have integrating that describe the relationship between describe how and why, describe the key parts of, and describe the effects, then summarize. Secondly, the symbolizing. It symbolize, depict, represent, illustrate, draw, show, use, models, diagram, in chart. Now let's go to the third level of difficulty according to Marzano and Kendall's. That is analysis. It is the reason or extension of knowledge. Now, an individual elaborates the knowledge as comprehend. We can say analysis that we have to extend it, elaborate it, and know more about the certain matter. Now, analysis has five sub-levels. We have includes matching, that we categorize, compare, and contrast. You can classify, you can analyze, you can generalize, and you can specify by predicting, judging, and arguing. Now, we will go to the last one of cognitive system, that would be the use of knowledge, also called the knowledge retrieval. So this means that this individual use when they wish to accomplish a specific task. Then have its four sublevels, starting with decision making, problem solving, experimenting, and investigating. Now we go to the fifth level, that already part of the second system, that is metacognitive. So metacognitive means as are responsible for monitoring, evaluating, and regulating the function of all other types of thought. And of course, we know from our professional education subject that when we say metacognition, it is thinking about thinking. That we are about to examine, are we doing good and what is good. Then let us take a look the sublevels of metacognition, including monitoring, specifying goals, examining motivation, where you can examine motivation to learn and improve judgments. Now we go to the last part of difficulty, and the last level system serve as the highest level according to Marzano and Kendall's. We have the self-thinking system. So this means that it is interrelated arrangements of attitudes, beliefs, and emotions. And this determines whether an individual will engage or disengage in a given task. So more or less, if you're thinking about the different type of domain that we have in education, this self-thinking falls under the affective domain. Okay, now these are the sub-levels of thinking system. We have only three, or include examining emotion. It is to identify the emotional responses with knowledge. Am I happy that I learned to drive? Do I feel sad because I can do productive geometry? That are the example of the first sublevels of self-thinking system. Second sublevel is to examine efficacy, where examine own beliefs to improve integration of knowledge. And how effective is this in learning such thing? The last sublevel is examining importance, where analyze the importance of knowledge to solve or analyze the importance of something. That would be all. Thank you.